let's talk about Blackbeard. In the One Piece world, it's vast and wide. Matter of fact, that's like one big long continent that goes across the whole world. Like, so you know the One Piece world is vast. There's a whole bunch of pirates and beings sailing the seas. Blackbeard, the character I'm going over today, has his own crew of pirates that are all strong in their own right, but he's the captain of the crew, obviously. He's one of those characters in the show that actually acts like pirates that we think of when you think of a pirate. This guy's the stereotypical definition of a pirate. It's almost like Blackbeard is an opposite evil parallel of Whitebeard, because you know Whitebeard was a loving, cool being. So it's like Whitebeard clean, Blackbeard dark. It's almost like it's a parallel. And the feats he did kind of backs it up too, because he was on Whitebeard's ship at one point. This brings me on to the next topic. There's characters, there's all kind of races. Blackbeard's one of those characters that's just an abnormally strong or large human just from his sheer size, but he's obsessed with power. There's these things known as devil fruits. Another crewmate had a devil fruit he wanted, and he actually murdered him for that devil fruit to gain the darkness fruit, which is part of the reason why he's so strong. Bruh was obsessed with power to the point where he wanted to go to prison to recruit some of the strongest criminals to add them to his crew to make his legion mightier. See, here's the thing in the world of One Piece. Like, there's these super fruits, these devil fruits. They're like incredibly strong mystical fruits to where if you eat one, all it takes is one bite, you gain the ability, but you cannot eat another one. They even theorize if you eat more than one devil fruit, their body would explode, killing them. That's also a convenient way for the writers to not make characters too overpowered, I guess. You see here, since it's called devil fruit, there's some characters that actually theorize that there's an actual devil, and if two devil fruits go inside one body, they will fight, and that's what will cause them to explode. However, it seems like Blackbeard is the exception. For some reason, he can have two devil fruits, and his body will not die somehow. At the time of me making this video, which is 2024, there's nobody else other than him that can eat two devil fruits and not die. Blackbeard, let's talk about him even more. He can create this black hole technique to suck everything in with the darkness. That's his first devil fruit, so it's already pretty destructive. Another broken ability is that if another person has devil fruit powers, see, here's the thing about the world of One Piece. There's characters in One Piece that have strange bodies because, you know, they ate devil fruit. So, like, for example, this the main character, he has a rubbery type of body. So it's kind of hard to inflict damage on beings when their body's like this. The cool thing about Blackbeard that if he grabs you with direct contact with his darkness fruit, he can kind of nullify this ability to where he can hit your real body without you being in devil fruit mode. This allows him to hit beings that are made of weird elements like smoke. Like, how are you supposed to punch smoke? Like, his devil fruit ability allows him to hit people like this. People you ordinarily wouldn't be able to hit. I mean, he technically doesn't have the gravity devil fruit, but he can technically do gravity type of manipulation with this black hole-ish darkness type fruit. See, in One Piece, devil fruit eaters that are Logia, beings that have intangible bodies, like beings literally made out of flame, they get a little cocky and don't dodge sometimes. Blackbeard, you might want to dodge. I mean, Blackbeard makes you have to dodge with his devil fruit touch, especially if he touches you. Even saying here, with a strike, he almost broke his neck. So it lets you know there's advantages to this darkness fruit. He even stated here in this particular panel, it's been a while since you've been punched or grabbed, because he's a weird devil fruit user that has weird body parts. Because he's flamey, he can hit him because his darkness can suck in the devil's power. And while he's touching their body, they can no longer use their abilities. So yo, like in this occasion with Whitebeard has the Quake ability. Blackbeard can counter his attacks with his darkness. Even when he's using his devil fruit, it sucks in the devil fruit's power. This is a counter. But the only caveat is that, yeah, Blackbeard, you can't rely on this because you can still get hit with physical normal attacks, though, with plain old super strength. So yeah, he can already do manipulate, darkness, energy, projection type stuff. But the other devil fruit I told you, he has two, right? Earlier I said he has two. He literally has the Tremor devil fruit where he can make earthquakes, aka more blast power from Whitebeard, of course. Yo, that's destructive. The part that's scary about him is that the moment he gets this ability, he seems to know how to use this earthquake ability rather well for his first time. Like when he first got it, when Whitebeard was gone, he literally got the guy's power of Whitebeard. So don't be surprised if I bring up Whitebeard a lot. So you're probably thinking this is the end of him, right? See, here's the thing about One Piece. There's animals that talk, giant humans, tall humans, fishmen, normal sized humans, but abnormally large humans. This picture right here just sums up the One Piece world, like all kinds of shapes and sizes of creatures and entities. Don't let me get on the fact there's actual giants versus normal humans. Look how large these actual giants are. And this is what I'm going to talk about Blackbeard some more. You see the main character, Luffy, right here. He's somebody I would call a normal-sized human. Blackbeard is already strong just from his sheer size compared to normal-sized humans, because Blackbeard is an abnormally large human. So just right off his size alone, he should already be physically stronger than the average human. But then he has all these devil fruits on top of it, right? There's also the added fact, I know it's hard to believe, he's gotten stronger over the years. He's one of those characters, he's not the main character, so we don't see his progress like directly, but it's a good assumption that he's training off screen to get stronger, to learn to be a better fighter, to be a better pirate off screen. Even after a 2-year time skip in the anime, he got a different look, like this, for example. It's obvious he uses a large assortment of weapons. I mean, he's always carrying guns, him using different weapons, but he's physically a beast. That's why on occasions Like this, with this occasion with Luffy, we literally see him slam him, and we see him do this to the rubble on the concrete on the ground. So yeah, he's cracking the ground with his hit so he can hit hard and slam hard. The Devil Fruit nullifying his rubbery ability to it. Like in this occasion with Impel Down, we see him stomp this Vice Warden, but just by kicking him down. Doesn't seem like he's spamming his black power right here either. His physicals. I know it's hard to believe, but this character that he's hurting like this is being known as Ace. I know you're probably, oh man, this ain't no feat. His durability got nullified because of his black flame or his black darkness. Well, here's the thing. Ace is confirmed to be physically a beast, even without his Devil Fruit. The fact he almost broke his neck lets you know how strong Blackbeard is just with physicals alone. A great example is how Luffy's young here. Luffy literally has superpowers. Ace doesn't, and Ace is still physically strong enough to get the advantage over, showing that this being that Blackbeard is hurting his bad is a beast without Devil Fruits. So him almost breaking his neck is actually an impressive feat of superhuman strength. This pretty much proves that Blackbeard can punch or kick with superhuman force, basically, because Ace is superhumanly strong. Ace is not the main character, so he doesn't have that many showings, but this is just like a quick example of Ace's physical strength. Even as a young boy with no Devil Fruit powers, he can lift up huge people like this. This is just a quick example. Yeah, he's not a weakling physically. Like, I know his Black Fruit is doing like a lot of work taking away Ace's Devil Fruit power, but these punches are just his physical punching power. Blackbeard can physically punch beings hard enough to level houses just with a punch like this, for example. So yeah, he can definitely punch through houses or buildings with just his punching power alone. He can total stuff like this without even spamming his blast power or Devil Fruit stuff or Earthquake Fruit or nothing. Just for raw muscles, he can do stuff like this. Just him and 3 other members of his crew were strong enough to take on an entire country worth of beings by themselves, like literally soloing the entire country, guys. My bad, it was 5 of them. They even said in narration, only 5. I might bring this back up later, but one of the strongest beings in the world, you know, Whitebeard's one of the strongest beings in the world. You got Shanks, and apparently off screen, we didn't see how this happened, of course. You know that famous scar that Shanks has, it was because of Blackbeard. And this is more than likely before he got that darkness power. So Blackbeard just seems to always have been like a threat to some degree. He's an abnormally large human. He has absurd superhuman physicals that can punch down houses with just straight physicals without using his Devil Fruit. Then he has Devil Fruit powers on top of this, and it's still not over yet, guys. You know what else he got? There's this mysterious ability in One Piece when you're a great fighter and get enough training, you can harness your inner energy to create more powerful attacks. There's this thing known as Haki. See, here's the thing. It's a power that's in everybody in One Piece, but not everybody learns how to master it. This is something you have to learn how to master it. They call it your spirit, your aura, your presence, depending on how you look at it. So he can basically harness his spirit energy to kind of coat himself in armor to increase his attack strength. Matter of fact, Blackbeard, you know he has this inner energy that you can harness because he was one of the first people to mention such things like this. He even says this about Luffy here. You're stronger than I thought. Your Haki has gotten stronger than before. This right here implies even back in these earlier days, Blackbeard knew about the technique of Haki. This is usually how the animators show us that they're using Haki, apparently. And we've actually seen Blackbeard use Haki. This is like, I guess, One Piece's way to make it a character invulnerable if they harness their spirit energy outwardly to make like a shield, like blocking sword attacks. I guess technically pretty much all the top tiers have the ability to use Haki. The super senses thing, you know, Blackbeard has this too, to be able to predict what you're about to do before you do it. Yeah, so basically anybody that has super senses like this, they can kind of predict what you're about to do before you do it. So you can use Haki for super senses, but yeah, it's also straight up armor, they say. And it makes them have more powerful punches or attacks. Oh, by the way, it's not like Blackbeard needs this ability to hit beings that have liquid and fluid bodies, but he also has this technique other than his Devil Fruit to hit beings that are liquid and fluid like Logias and such. So he has like 2 different methods of hitting people. So yeah, you're getting hit by Blackbeard. And then there's like another Haki, it's called Haki the Supreme King or Conqueror's Haki. It's only 1 in a million. It's super rare for even beings to genetically get this. See, this is where the stuff gets wonky because after Conqueror's Haki got introduced, it's not like the writer told us every single time a character uses Conqueror's Haki, so it's almost up for speculation. But yeah, Blackbeard, it's a nice assumption. He could possibly have the Supreme King Haki too. Like when they talk about armor, they literally mean armor because there's literal beings that are literal poison or literal beings that ate the gas fruit. Beings literally made of gas, they can punch and not like get sick from punching them because of their armor around their fist. This is basically shown on how Luffy's using armor against this being known as Caesar and he's not getting sick because he has armor around. Like you see, it's like a form of invulnerability. This is the kind of stuff to where even if you didn't have no Devil Fruit powers, you can technically still counter people that have eaten Devil Fruits with this Haki ability. It counters stuff like this. For example, if your Haki is strong enough, it can even stop your Devil Fruit ability of not even letting you teleport characters. Like, for example, like Law couldn't move like these top tiers because their Haki was too strong. You know, Law has the ability to literally teleport other beings. Like, he couldn't move them because their Haki was too top tier. So it nullifies, like, hacks and stuff when your Haki's crazy enough. Like, you guys know how in One Piece, I've said this a million times, mountain shattering is nothing in One Piece. You can get an idea of how strong he is without even spamming Devil Fruits. Like, he got hit. He blocked an attack from this super android with his Haki, you know, of course, he was able to block. an attack that was basically able to split mountains. So I think we all can say without no devil fruit ability, like this is light work stuff in One Piece. His normal old punches without no devil fruit would be able to tremble entire mountains, cause catastrophic destruction to them, or just simply make a big gash or a hole in the mountain with a simple Haki punch. Like that should be obvious of something he can do. He's a One Piece top tier. You know what I mean? We've actually seen Blackbeard clash powers or attacks with strong beings like Law. Somebody like Law we know has Haki and can cut meteors in half. His powers allow him to basically ignore durability as well. Unless you have strong enough Haki, Law can also cut literal mountains apart, and Blackbeard's clashing with this. You see where I'm going with this? So it's obvious huge mountain-like structures based on his tier. This stuff should be light work. He can definitely level or split such constructs based on him scuffling with Law and such. His black fruit, his darkness fruit, kind of has similarities to a real black hole that we're thinking about, like the darkness, for example. Because in this particular situation, like he was sucking beings in, like it was stated, like a black hole in the ground. It was crushing everything. He even said darkness is gravitation. It's force that sucks in everything. Not even light can escape, apparently. He even goes as far as saying it's infinite. Like he literally sucked in this whole town, black hole ability, and it crushed everything in this vicinity. They even said the word infinite. Isn't that crazy? These crazy words, wiping out a whole town, multiple buildings. So just right off gate, his blast power with his darkness fruit, without even talking about the earthquake ability, like right here, for example, this is not the earthquake ability. This is before he had it. He was able to hold Whitebeard in place with it a top tier with this black hole ability. This basically proves multiple city blocks or an entire town, he can just literally sink it. This black hole ability. I mean, he literally did it. When it comes to this town in particular, he crushed it on screen. Your best bet is to run because he'll just delete your whole town. This is how it looks 2 years later when he's gotten better with his ability to literally sink an entire town at will with the black hole ability. You know, it's kind of broken. Like in this occasion with Ace, he was literally able to make a giant darkness ball. This ball literally like it was about the size of the entire island itself. Even though this wasn't the biggest island ever, this pretty much proves if he probably focused all that, probably could have split the island in half. I have no doubt he could just make a giant blast of darkness and could just have it split a city or an island in half with the blast power, just concussive force of it, if I'm being honest. I mean, he literally made a blast that's dang near close to 1/4 the size of the entire island, it seems. Here's an idea of what his blast power is when he decides to actually use his quake fruit when he gets it. Like this building right here looks like a giant mountain-sized building, and look at all this destruction he's causing with his blast, messing up the entirety of Marineford. He literally has Whitebeard's power, like I mentioned earlier. He was confident he can sink the entire Marineford into the sea, island shattering. I definitely believe he could do that without this power. This is definitely not an exaggeration. He could definitely do this. Like this island with this giant sized mountain-sized building on it, he could sink all of this at will if he wished with his quake powers. It's one of them situations where it's fair to say whatever Whitebeard can do, Blackbeard can do, because he's doing similar techniques, tilting the whole sea and crap, like tilting all these build, like he's tilting stuff with the island itself. So you can tell he can do more, causing massive tsunamis. Yes, I want to give you guys a perspective on whatever Whitebeard can do technically with this superpower, then technically Blackbeard can do this stuff too, creating tsunamis the size of islands and crap. Like, here's an angle of how big Marineford is. Whitebeard can make tidal waves bigger than the island to cover it up. Technically, Blackbeard should be able to make waves this massive too via earthquakes and making tsunamis. Not to mention he was literally planning on sinking this whole thing anyway. I mean, it would be weird if Blackbeard couldn't level an island when he has crew members that literally ate the island fruit. And you know how the writing on One Piece is. He's the captain of the crew. So let's be honest, we know he's stronger than his own crew member. That's literally an island man and can literally manifest itself as an actual island. Blackbeard definitely should be able to do this by default, obviously, especially after the 2 years. Yeah, he could definitely level island-sized structures. That's pretty obvious at this point. Oh, guys, you remember Whitebeard doing this and splitting the island right down the middle? Yeah, I'm talking about big gashes. Big junks like this, Blackbeard should be able to do too, just like how Whitebeard can. Not to mention there's statements about Whitebeard's devil fruit, which Blackbeard now has, being capable of having the power to destroy the very world itself. The One Piece world is bigger than our world. I would have thought stuff like this was an exaggeration if we didn't see lower tiers beings that are nowhere near the Yonko tier. Like, Yonkos are beings at the top of the food chain in One Piece, by the way, in straight up power levels. I would have thought this an exaggeration if beings like this couldn't make gigantic explosions that could be seen from Earth. This might be gaggy, but shoot, this is a ridiculously large explosion. If their One Piece moon is anything like our moon, this is like a gigantic multi-continental size explosion. So with his destructive powers like his black hole power or his tremor fruit, there's a chance his blast that could at least tremble a moon possibly, or even maybe destroy a moon planetoid, smaller type structure or something. Because in the world of One Piece, here's the thing, even if we're not talking about devil fruit powers, like when it comes to this technique known as Haki or whatever, usually when top tiers, advanced top tiers, when they use their top tier Haki, advanced Haki and stuff, and Conqueror's Haki coding and stuff, it's a common theme in One Piece where two emperors clash with their Haki and stuff, so they can split the sky itself. Like, it's one of those situations, like, we know for a fact Blackbeard is also Yonko. Like, Yonkos are basically the strongest pirates in the world, and Blackbeard's literally right here. He's a Yonko as well. Not to mention this Yonko in the past, he actually damaged him, and he's the reason why he has this scar in the first place. So it kind of lets you know that he's just strong in general. We can theorize that he could do this sky-splitting stuff with Haki too, if he has Conqueror's Haki coding with his fist. I mean, because every other emperor or Yonko in the series can do it. It just seems right for him to be able to do it. If we assume that Blackbeard can split the sky too by clashing, you'd be able to hit their Conqueror's Haki together to affect big chunks of clouds way in the air where they're nowhere near. It takes a lot of energy. Being able to split the sky, other people have calculated, not me, other people have calculated that in order to split the sky, even though you're way down here, to hit something that far away clashing and split that much cloud, it would take the force equivalent to level multiple continents. That's a wild calculation, right? You can look at those calculations yourself on YouTube. Just Google it. You can also get an idea of Blackbeard's power by how he does against certain top tier Marines. You know, Marines have their own rankings and their power levels. For the most part, I mean, there's obviously some exceptions to it, but for the most part, Marines, their rank depends on their combat ability, like how the highest ranked Marines are admirals, for example. Yeah, I've stated here. We've actually seen Blackbeard take attacks from beings that are way at the top of the food chain of the Navy or the Marines. And I'm pretty sure if these admiral level beings could just knock them out with ease, they would have done it. They obviously just can't easily knock out Blackbeard. Like Whitebeard at the time, even though he was sick and dying and have his face blown off and dying, he was able to withstand a blast point blank before he got the Quake Fruit. He was able to withstand the Quake power right to his face thanks to this Darkness Fruit. Even withstood a cut from Whitebeard himself. This did hurt though. You can also get an idea of his power, especially in later sagas, to where he's overpowering beings like Bo Hancock, beings with a 1.6 billion level bounty. And look at his bounty in comparison, he's a Yonko for a reason. You see him right here use the Earthquake ability against Law. When beings like Law are using their broken Devil Fruit, he's more than likely using Haki, a mixture of his Devil Fruit powers to counter it here. I mean, Law is no pushover. Law is a being that helped take down some Yonko in the last arc of One Piece, if you've been watching One Piece or reading it. And Blackbeard actually took him out, his crew. I'm just waiting for Oda, the creator of One Piece. I'm just finally waiting for him to reveal that Blackbeard can make actual black holes or some crap and swallow the solar system. That's none of my business, though. Do you think we'll ever see something like that in One Piece? I wouldn't be surprised if he started pulling out stuff like that near the end of the One Piece series to really go out with a bang with the show. Having blast power to split moons and such, that's like scratching the iceberg, in my opinion, to what we're really going to see later on. Series isn't even done yet. And there's already implications of moon splitting power from One Piece characters. Oh boy, what do you think? Do you think he can split the moon in half or a small planetoid in half? This guy has a darkness fruit that can produce gravity and crap, and has an earthquake fruit that can apparently destroy the very world. So I wouldn't doubt it. What do you guys think though? Before I get going though, I gotta say thanks for the donations, everybody. Respect Blackbeard's might. It's probably gonna be more to come later on before One Piece ends. He has to fight Luffy, remember? So I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.